Okay, one last chance, Lee. Go ahead and cough one time so you can get it out of your system. Okay, that was good. Thank you. Good morning. It's I think Tuesday, and we're having the time of our lives in here this morning, as usual. We're talking about everybody who needs to be talked about, and a bunch of people who don't. But it's fair game.
Let me see.
Good Tuesday morning to all y'all. It's the 17th day of June. We're fast approaching the shortest day of the year.
What?
The hours of daylight will begin to fade away.
Already?
Yep.
What?
Summer will be here officially. Never mind the 90-degree days we've already had. It's kind of like hurricanes. The official season is 1 June to 30 November for hurricanes. But hurricanes have formed before and after those dates. And what's the difference between a hurricane season and hunting for fishing seasons? No one ever gives the hurricane weather predicting guys a ticket for taking stuff out of season. Sounds like the perfect defense if you get caught catching a speckled trout before the first day of July. I'm just saying, don't go catch one yet. The 1st of July you can. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Chris Marks.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And back to today and other historically nonsensical details.
Okay.
Some of these are pretty good, though. A lot of stuff has happened on this date. Way back in 1775, the Battle of Bunker Hill started.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that? You weren't
I know
there.
there's
I wasn't there, but yeah.
In 1885, the Statue of Liberty arrived on a ship in the New York harbor. Where did it come from?
France.
Very good. In 1972, the infamous break-in happened at the
Shockwave?
No.
Watergate Hotel,
Oh.
specifically in the Democratic National Headquarters at the Watergate, and that led to the resignation of President Richard Nixon.
Yes.
In 1994, millions of Americans watched the most famous of all car chases.
OJ.
God, all of us can remember that one pretty well. The cops were chasing O.J. Simpson at breakneck speeds of 30 to 45 miles per hour.
And I actually remember watching
Oh,
that
I
on
watched it.
TV.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's on all the channels.
Go, OJ, go. Even
OJ,
though-
don't be stupid. They're going to shoot you. You're wanted for murder. Would anybody else, do you think they would have treated anyone else like that?
Who believes OJ really did it?
Everybody.
Everybody does.
He did it.
Yep.
That's just a fact, Jack. Parents, if you want to do something good for your kids that are out of school, you may want to spend a little time with them to study each of these and other historic events. There are historic events that have occurred on every date.
Mhm.
If you take a minute every day
Mm-hmm.
and look at history.com, I think it is, and put that date in. Do it the night before and you'll have a leg up. You'll know what the answers are too, so you won't have to look stupid. Chances are the kids today, if you ask them these questions, every one of them, if you pose this stuff to them that we just did, they won't know anything about any of them.
Yeah, right. Not even OJ.
No. Who OJ, orange juice? What do you mean orange juice? I don't know orange juice. If you don't believe me, give it a try. Give them a test when they wake up. They should have already been up, taking the trash out or something.
The white Bronco.
And if you don't know about these events, Mr. and Mrs. Parent, you should not have children. Give them back. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown. We've already done that, haven't we? Did we?
still
Yes,
say I'm
we
Chris
have.
I don't
But
remember.
if you want to do it again, I'm game.
Well, I did it.
I'm Chris Marks.
And I'm Lee Barrows. And good morning.
In the old days,
Name.
we used to say that was called instant replay.
replay.
Can we have a replay? Can we have a replay on a lot of things right now? I'm
Remember
thinking back and I'm like, oh, I'd like to
Remember
have
the
a
old jingle,
replay.
pow, pow, power?
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
You ever played that backwards?
No.
Wop, wop, wop. Well, pow backwards is wop.
Oh, it would be rewop. Rewop. Power. Backwards is rewop.
Oh, I thought he said pow, pow, pow.
Oh, pow, pow, pow.
Pow, pow, power.
Pow, pow.
Yeah.
Pow, pow,
Or-
pow.
And that's, well, none of you. I'm done.
I'm
Too late now.
I'm so done.
Okay, 910-333-0139 if you have anything positive to add to the show this morning or you want people to know about. if you got some goodwill out there, give us a call. If you're out there on Piney Green Road at 24 or on 24 at Piney Green Road, either one. There may have been a wreck there at some point in time since yesterday. The traffic may or may not still be backed up. I don't know.
Well,
But if anybody's out there, call us and let us know firsthand. That's the way we get it from our listeners.
Force one upside down or one on the guardrail or something in lanes closed.
What guardrail?
But up there towards the bypass to go on the base. I don't know.
Oh,
Well, wait a minute.
All I know
Is you
was
at Piney Green Road or are you at?
no. It said look, okay. Social media just says Piney Green in 24, and then
that's
somebody
not
else
near the
said
bypass.
that there was one overturned. I don't know, but if you can avoid that area,
Just stay home. Listen to us.
call in sick today.
It's a good day for it.
Tell them I'm sorry I can't come to work because the roads are blocked.
Or my arms in a cast.
Yeah, it used to be. I don't like to pick on the post office, but I do like to.
Yeah, you do. I do if you don't.
On the roads. Oh no, not. And we're not going to talk about the snow. We're going to talk about storms. When we had an H storm come through, and it's so shocking and surprising. Not the carriers that will call in and say, "I've got a tree across my driveway. I can't get out," and we're like, "Mm-hmm."
You said you liked delivering in the rain.
Oh, I love to
rain.
deliver in the rain, but I'm talking about when there was a
She didn't
hurricane.
have to take a shower
Okay.
that way.
And this is like when I was
Carry soap.
supervising and the calls that came in, like, and we always knew which ones were going to be the ones to do it, and they never failed us.
Mm.
I have a tree down. I can't get out.
Let's say
Like,
hello to
okay.
let's say hello to Chris and Bridget. They're listening.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Bridget. I
Chris,
know.
my DMV.
Now, Chris,
Yes.
DMV.
I like Chris.
She is a regular listener,
Yeah.
along with some of our other friends.
She also keeps them.
Robert and Kathy.
Yeah, oh yeah. But
And
Chris keeps some
Bridget's-
people in line. I'll
Yes, she
tell you that
does.
right
I'll
now.
tell you what.
And if you're in the wrong line, she'll tell you about
You
it.
need a sergeant of arms. Call Chris.
Sunday
And she
morning.
can sing too.
Sunday morning
Yes, she
donuts, old fashioned. Yeah, when I do donuts for our church. she
So
said,
that's why I'm not getting any old fashioned leftovers.
if you want old fashioned, I'll get you old fashioned. I thought
Chris.
blueberry was your favorite.
I like the old fashioned donuts.
Okay.
But I'll
You
eat
You tell them
any
to the
donut.
Salvation Army donuts.
Look, I will. Oh, those are so good. I will eat any donut. Let's just go
Okay.
ahead and clarify that.
Well, I know what Rayford with it.
Lemon.
Vanilla cream filled.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know what he does to that one. The vanilla cream filled with the chocolate. He gets the sugar high. real quick.
Oh yes, he does.
Oh yeah. Well, as witnessed as a morning not long ago, we were like, "Calm down."
Okie dokie, y'all. We have enough to deal with in this country, but now
It's bad.
we have to worry about two warring nations. One is known to have nuclear weapons for sure. The other is known to have enough raw material to build 9 bombs or to arm a bunch of missiles. Now, our problem is, of course, that we can be within range of some of that stuff if we're not careful. Their craziness is not being contained within their borders. If you want to do things and don't want to make it a worldwide or even a regional war, don't shoot beyond your borders. And shooting over your borders to get into another country, several countries away, is dangerous because not all of those missiles and rockets that are launched may have been with somebody practicing when they loaded them. We had that happen out here with a mortar back in the 80s, was it? A big gun went off, and the road there that goes, the back road that goes down to Sneads Ferry, it was
Yes.
open. They used to keep it open
Yeah, they used to.
when live firing was going on. But one of the rounds fell short and hit a lieutenant colonel's wife's car and killed her.
I vaguely
You,
almost don't remember that.
oh
I do.
God knows, I
I-
remember it.
Yeah.
And that's
I
when
just-
shortly thereafter the sign goes up when they're firing live. You don't drive under a live
Well,
bullet. And when they're mortar rounds
Definitely.
or artillery rounds, you certainly don't want to do it.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It was
horrible.
terrible.
And I just, for the life, I I just don't really remember that.
If a nuclear device of any size is activated, we're going to wish we had not abandoned personal fallout shelters from the 1960s, like the one my dad built here on this property. Israel had intel about the uranium that had been produced, that processed in Iran and blew up a lot of stuff, killing a lot of people, a bunch of scientists and military leaders. I think they got 14 the other day, scientists.
Yeah.
Well, that'll stop the production of nuclear grade uranium. We're making it into something that can be used. Iran, of course, responded, sending untold numbers of missiles into Israel. They bombarded them with everything they had going for them. To do it in quantity is harder to intercept them, I guess, to intercept all of them. Defensive methods were in place, but a lot of those missiles hit their targets, and some of them just hit random locations, and people died. A lot of people died. We don't know how many. They're not going to tell us the truth. Neither side. What next?
Good question.
If we, Uncle Sam, if we go on the offensive, the attack, that's going to be another problem. Will that be the beginning of a war with Russia, with Syria, other points, China? God help us. We'll be busy. We won't be able to be in here talking. We'll be hiding. I don't know how this is going to end, but I'm betting that Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu won't wait too long before he pulls the pin on the biggest grenade of them all. If his people keep getting killed, if Israelis continue to die, he'll do something. I don't understand. Israel's being condemned by a lot of folks, of course, as you would expect. There are a lot of people that do not like Jews right up front. They'll tell you, you've heard that all your lives, haven't you?
Yes.
They don't respect them.
Yeah.
They don't trust them. They're people, just like you. And they don't need to be at war all their lives. And some of the people in Israel, can you imagine? They have been at war since they were born at one time or another. You never could tell when a terrorist attack was going to occur, when, something was going to come up from Gaza.
You know what, Rayford, you bring up a very good point. And we get up every day, we go to work, we go to church, we go to school, we come home, we have family time, and we watch television, we get out and mow our grass. And this is another reason why it upsets me so much to see protesters destroying and vandalizing and hurting other people in our country. This is not what we're about.
Yeah.
Protest peacefully.
Well, this protesting, is this just an excuse for somebody to organize? Look, these are not random protests. These are very organized.
Yes, they are.
You've got to understand, people are being paid, people are being coerced. They think they're doing something cool, not for the good of anything. They have no purpose except to protest and raise Cain. There's no end goal for them except to create hate and discontent. And that's what they're doing. Right. You don't protest by turning police cars over, bombing police cars, beating windshields in of people driving around. You don't do that. That's not protesting.
But the point I'm making is, do they not realize how lucky they are to live in a country like we live in and not have to fear every day living in some countries whether or not you're going to get bombed?
When I watch, that's a great point. When I watch the videos, I'm trying to picture, and I can't, and I'm glad I can't, to see a missile or a bomb come into Jacksonville and destroy, pick a place. It doesn't matter. Downtown Jacksonville. I can't even imagine what these people go through. Yet we have these freedoms that our military fought for way back before we were all even thought about.
Can you imagine all of the volunteer fire department sirens going off at the
Oh my
same
gosh.
time when there's a missile coming
What
in?
do you do? What do you do?
Where do you
just
go?
sit there. And,
Where do you do, what can you do? You have a shelter? Is there a shelter? Where would we go if there was one coming here?
absolutely.
Is there any location? There are 5 designated shelters for hurricane evacuation.
right.
5. They're schools.
Yeah.
Do you not think that those schools will be targeted?
Oh,
Do we even have to think about the day coming where we need to build bomb shelters?
Do you? Can you imagine? And not
I'm
to try to
stressed.
scare the crap out of you, but we're 17 days now into hurricane season. There are 5 places here. Particularly for people who have fear, like living in a mobile home, they have fear of whatever if a hurricane's coming, or they live along the beaches. They got to go somewhere. If they can't leave the area, they will go to shelters. Shelters, these 5 that are designated, they're the latest schools, and they were built to withstand category 4s, I think. Anyway, they're equipped with stuff. They got generators there too, by the way, and they have ham radio antennas there so that the ham club can send operators out to each one of these schools and just plug in and have comms. Every one of those during a hurricane.
We can plan for.
No, we can plan for it. But just imagine every one of those 5 locations being filled up.
Right.
And the bad guys know where they are. They've got the coordinates already programmed
Now you're
into their
freaking
missiles.
me out.
And how about when is the best time in the world to take advantage of anything? When they are weakened.
Well, did I not say the other day that when is the best time to take advantage of the United States? Oh, let's do it while everybody's in the streets protesting.
Uh-huh.
And I don't doubt there's some correlation between what's going on other out of country and what's going on in country.
I mean,
It could be a planned thing.
This news coming out of Israel and Iran, and I look at the other stations and other parts of the world, TV stations for news, to see what's going on there.
Right.
Because our teams here are really busy
Yes.
with what's going on here. They got their eye off the ball.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
most of y'all really don't have a full picture of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching this, they'll grab sound bites here, there, and they'll cut to a correspondent in somewhere near Israel or maybe in Israel. And they'll give you their version of what's happening in 32 seconds.
yeah.
Well, last night I was watching that one YouTube channel that I watch because he's got direct feeds from Israel, Tel Aviv, and a couple other places. And I watched one missile come into Israel, come down and hit.
Yep.
And the sirens were going off like crazy. And they were telling people, stay in your shelters. And then about 30 minutes later, they were saying, it's safe to come out now. And then a little while later, all these sirens.
Here we go again.
In fact, the sirens were so loud on the YouTube channel that I was watching. My dog started howling. And I was like, think about the people there and the animals.
What are y'all going to do? What are y'all going to do if you get the report of one coming this way? We do live at a military installation here.
Yeah.
World's largest marine amphibious base.
And
Second largest marine base in the world. The largest on the East Coast. Hello.
And Rayford, if they started sending missiles this way, where do you think they're going to aim first?
The East
Headquarters. They're going to go for headquarters.
I figured headquarters too, but
hit it here will just make a lot of news.
are we prepared right now, like say right here
What are you going
on
to do?
our military base to intercept missiles coming in?
I doubt it.
Well,
But we won't know what we're capable of doing.
Is it too early for a drink? I'm stressed.
I was out at the base yesterday. A lot of action going on.
Yes, there is.
Oh, sure.
There's a lot of training.
What's your security level right now?
I think it's still a C.
Brandon Rhodes. Still
I think
C?
I still C, which is basically you don't have an ID card,
Yeah.
you don't get on the base.
Well, that's
Simple as
pretty
that.
much the day. That's an everyday thing now.
Yeah, every
Has
day.
been for a
Yeah,
while.
Yeah.
Or you better have an escort.
no, not even escort.
I mean, somebody.
Oh, from base can
Yeah.
come and get
Oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but if you're in that car, if the 3 of us are there,
Uh-huh.
one of us don't have an ID, that
Uh-huh.
car's turned around. Bye bye.
Everybody has to have an ID in the car?
Everybody has to have a military ID card to get on the base.
Oh, really? That's
In a
not the way it
vehicle.
was.
No, that's the way it is now.
Okie dokie. Gotcha. So it has elevated.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. About you?
It's Monday, right?
Yeah, Brandon. Tell him it's
Yeah,
Tuesday.
It's Monday.
Tell him it's Tuesday.
Feels like Monday.
I've been watching you guys on Facebook, and I hear y'all talking about Israel and all this stuff, and I try not to get biblical, but it just coming to shows that Jesus is coming back, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is. Brandon, do you remember what was written? We know how God created the earth, right?
Right.
With water. How is he going to destroy? How is he going to come back?
Fire and brimstone.
We need to get a fire extinguisher.
And forget the fire
a-
extinguisher.
Yeah,
When he comes,
don't have enough.
A life preserver.
Yeah.
I'm a,
I mean, I've been thinking about the same thing as you guys, where about the bomb shelter and stuff. I mean, I 100% agree with you, because there's a lot of places people do have bomb shelters around their house.
Mm-hmm. They're generally called shelters out there in the Midwest or somewhere. They have them for tornadoes, but you're right. They do have them.
But let me ask you this, Brandon. Would you want to come out of yours after an attack? Would you want to come
Probably
out
not.
of it and see what was
Probably not. I'll probably just stay in, stay hidden.
I'd wait for somebody else to go out. We need bird dogs all the time, don't we? Let them point out where we don't need to be. Send out the canaries.
Sir.
I don't want to paint that picture, but I'm just try to imagine you're in your shelter and something's
Yes.
happened.
There have been
And then-
movies in the past about things like that. I can't remember what they were, but
I've
they're
got
all
to
black
quit
and white.
watching those movies
There
too.
was a Twilight Zone movie about a guy who'll be able to have bomb shelter in his
Right.
home. Fall that shelter.
But you then you come out and what's around you? Nothing.
Is there anybody left?
Yeah.
Are you going to be the ones to start over?
Yeah, but let me ask you, you've got a bomb shelter in your backyard and that missile coming down just happens to hit right there.
Oh, that doesn't. Yeah, you ain't 100% proof.
No.
Whatever.
I'm stressed. Y'all quit.
All right. Go on the happy
Sorry.
Brandon, we got her climbing the walls now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
You worry about you prepared hurricane season, you get prepared. And I hope you're buying your stuff now a little bit at a time and stocking up. But you worry about storms, and I think it's the biggest thing around this area that we ever have to worry about is a hurricane, right?
I hope that's the biggest thing we have to worry about. But
And
now I'll give you some bad news about storms.
no.
Yes. The latest data from the meteorologists saying that tornado alley out there in the middle part of the country,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's moving eastward.
Well,
That's what they're saying now.
I can tell you about microburst.
But anyway, they're looking at it and saying there are more and more tornadoes that are further east now than there were in the past. So Tornado Alley is expanding.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
that's interesting.
a mess.
So we've talked about somewhat gloom and doom. I want to say something. Nice post we just got from Susan.
Yes, I
Yeah,
wanted to
why
mention
don't
that.
Go ahead.
One of our listeners, Susan, she said, I do love listening to you and the others. It's almost like you can read my mind. Because of my lack of having internet service, I can rarely listen on my phone, but I listen, and every morning when you were on the radio, I do wish you were still there. Have a great day. Hopefully dry. Great job. And I sent her back a message saying that we hope to be back on the radio soon. And thank you
I
for
could
the
give
kind
you all a couple
remarks.
of telephone numbers if you would like to call,
Yeah.
tell these folks the same thing.
Yeah.
If you have a favorite local radio station around town, or even in surrounding counties that cover this area, give them a call.
Yeah.
I love the
That would be
comments,
cool.
except that she thinks we can read her mind. If she could read ours, it'd be worse probably.
I feel powered.
No, well,
Not
Oh,
pow
wow.
pow. but powered.
She's backward pow pow.
But if you would like to call like Brandon just did, or Susan, 910-333-0139.
We'd like to hear it from you too. We'd like you to talk.
Yeah,
to
and can I completely change the subject?
Sure,
We've
we're
already
gonna do
talked
weather.
about this,
Oh.
and I'm still mad. I am so upset. Last night at the county commissioners meeting.
Let's do the
not
weather
gonna do
because
the weather.
that's a topic. That we,
wow.
I want
Yeah.
to spend some time on said
Yes,
topic.
because I'm very upset,
Yeah.
but as we all are,
Uh-huh.
let's do weather
Can I go
first.
to the beach today? Weather. Nice.
Let's do the stressful weather.
Marine weather. Offshore out to 20 nautical miles. Southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 this afternoon. Seas 3 to 4 feet, 5 seconds apart. Going to be choppy. Sounds and rivers, a moderate chop, becoming messy in the afternoon. Messy is an official marine forecast, weather forecast. Southwesterly winds tomorrow, continuing
it.
15 to 20 knots, gust to 25, seas 4 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers choppy. Thursday, southwesterly winds again 15 to 20 with gusts up to 25 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers again going to be choppy.
And today we have a messy afternoon chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Partly sunny with a high near 91. Heat index values as high as 102. Southwest winds 5 to 9 miles per hour with gusts as high as 16. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 73. Wednesday, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, sunny with a high near 94. Heat index values as high as 106.
Yes.
And you're sick. Thursday, a chance of showers and
baby.
thunderstorms, sunny with a high near 94. And I have a feeling that Thursday is going to change and ramp up because they're already talking about severe weather for Thursday. So I will never see
We
my
had a lot of
backyard
rain
again.
yesterday, and it burst last night.
Yes. And
My God.
I will never see my backyard again. They're never going to have the chance to get all the trees that are laying in my yard
Well,
out.
you got an advantage. If you just trim the limbs off right now, get all the limbs out of the way, and cut the tree trunks into about 8-foot sections, and then you can strap all of those together and make yourself a big old raft.
Why am I sick? You said I was
Okay.
sick.
Well, I'm afraid of what's under those trees. There's probably
Well, you
snakes.
could use them
Could
for
be dead
propulsion.
possums and squirrels. And no,
I'll go back.
that's why
Why?
somebody else is coming to
You
do
said
it.
the heat index 102, and I'm like, yeah. And you said sick.
Yeah,
said
it
sick.
is sick.
Oh, I thought you said I was.
Well, I do believe that's what I was referring to. You're sick. Man. All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. About
All right.
last month, EMS had a call. Unresponsive person at a business that we know about here,
Yes.
and we know the people there. We know all the people there pretty
Yes.
much. And some of us got kind of uptight when it happened because we
didn't know who it
we
was
know
at
somebody
first.
there.
Yes.
And the person, the EMS responded, county EMS responded, and they worked diligently on this individual.
Yes.
The report is for 45 minutes. or
45
thereabouts.
minutes.
Okay.
He fell outside.
Mhm.
Well, he dropped, so
Collapsed.
to say, collapsed. Thank you. And medical was called. A JPD fire department and EMS showed up. They worked on this gentleman for about 45 minutes. He was an employee of this business.
Mhm.
And after that time, they determined that they were not able to resuscitate him. So the way it is now in Onslow County,
He was pronounced dead.
yes, he was
By the
pronounced
EMS
dead
units,
by
okay.
EMS. Well, because of the circumstances, I guess he didn't have a doctor, nobody that could vouch what happened. The medical examiner requested, but you're going to have to bring him to us. We're going to have to do an autopsy, which is understandable. So anyway, it seems like the county has got a contract with another ambulance service to take these type of calls, pick up deceased,
Mhm.
Yeah.
pick up people that, the ones that have to go and be examined by a medical
If
examiner.
your situation and you have a history of heart
Right.
attacks or whatever, or your doctor
Right.
is well aware of your condition, your situation,
Right.
they can then transport you straight to the funeral home of
Right.
your.
Well, usually
of
the
your
funeral
choice,
home
yeah.
will come out and
Yeah,
pick
they
you
will
up.
do it.
Yes, because I know for both my mother and father, we already had everything.
That's what
And all
do.
we had to do was call them. And after hospice came in and did the official passing, we called the funeral home and they came. But Onslow County had sent out bids a while back for any ambulances services to bid on a contract with the county to do these particular services. When nobody in Onslow County,
There's at least one here. I know there may be two or
it
three.
was
I don't
friendly. I know if they're
That's
still in
friendly.
business, friendly.
Yeah.
They
Family.
are.
Well, so the only bid they got on it was out of Duplin County, which is
That's
30 minutes away. Okay.
At least.
But anyway, and they said that none of the funeral homes really wanted to bid on it and do that.
Sure.
But anyway, the whole point is this gentleman's body laid outside for 3 hours,
That's what we're told.
surrounded by his family.
On the
And his
driveway, in
friends.
the parking lot, in
Yes,
public view.
waiting for this service to come pick them up. Now, mind you, nobody could pick them up and take them themselves because
That's illegal.
it's it's a call by the medical examiner, and you can't do that. I do believe they said a JPD officer stayed the entire
Well,
time.
let me just put it, that
Which
is
is
evidence
required,
at the
right.
time.
Right. So, but I got so upset because this is unsatisfactory. This is wrong.
Now, at the county commission meeting last night,
Now, so at the county commissioner meeting, one of the siblings of this gentleman that passed away, it was Danny Ernie, and his brother Denny got up and he spoke. He did a wonderful job. I don't know how he did it without breaking down, but he told the story about how his brother laid there for 3 hours. 3 hours waiting for a service to come pick up his brother's body in the hot sun, out there in the elements. Besides the fact it's so disrespectful, and that man did not deserve that. And so after he spoke, and then a few minutes later, Julie Sewell got up and spoke.
she works at the place.
She works at the place. She was so eloquent in what she
Good for her.
said. She was very respectful. She hit the nail on the head. Is same thing
It's
with.
not blasting anybody. It's trying to get something
Right.
done so it doesn't happen again.
There was not blame placed on the commissioners.
Mhm.
There was not blame placed on anything. There was a crack. There is a crack in the whole system there that allowed this to happen. The ambulance service that they were contracted with, why did it take them 3 hours? Why are we contracting with an ambulance service out of county?
Because nobody bid on it here.
Because nobody bid
I
on it here.
understand that.
My thing is, though,
I have a solution.
this is my thoughts. If EMS was working on him for 45 minutes, was there any way they could put him in the ambulance and continue working on him on their way to the hospital? And then once they pronounced him passed, he was right there at the morgue. So I want to know why EMS couldn't transport him. I want to know why.
I was at a meeting last night, so I couldn't watch it. But just from what you're mentioning, and I believe everything, that the timeline and everything, in my own opinion, they should have put him in the bus. That's what they call it. I still
Yep.
believe.
Right.
They put him in the bus. They continue to treat him. Their ambulances from the location where I know it's at would have taken them at best 2-3 minutes with their sirens on. It was that close to the hospital. And they're in the
5 minutes
emergency room.
away, less.
And then boom. I mean,
Right. I don't
Well,
understand why.
Once they pronounced him dead, okay,
Right.
they didn't want to put him in the unit, the bus, whatever you want to call it. They didn't want to do that, I'm sure, because they had more room, they had more facilities, they could put more people on him. I'm sure that they were working with every piece of equipment they had. Now,
I understand
okay,
that point
you're
too.
going to call it at some point in
Okay.
time. They called it. At that point in time, now they got to preserve the scene, or somebody does. JPD did. Fine. But if I've called and said we need a unit to transport and one is not readily available, and I'm talking about in a reasonable period of time, 3 hours is not. Okay.
Right.
If one is not reasonably available, then there's a backup plan. Said backup plan, an Onslow County EMS unit picks up the individual. Hopefully, it would be the same unit that was there.
Right.
Transport and then move on.
I will say.
What is the problem with that? A backup. Now that does fall under the purview of the county commissioners, and they could come up with a plan.
I will say that this was not the fault of any county commissioner.
Nope, it was done by the book.
This was done by the book, but there is a crack in the system. This needs to be addressed, which every one of them was upset last night, and they addressed it. I think Paul Buchanan came right out the first one, and he was like, no. But, and as did the other commissioners, they all, said their piece. But this is unsatisfactory. And I know sometimes there's cracks in the system. We don't know until something like this happens, but there is no excuse. 3 hours.
Nope.
No excuse.
I understand a lot of people listen to the program looking for answers,
Right.
which a lot of times we have our opinions, and sometimes we have answers. So I'm going to have to ask ourselves a question. I'll ask both of you this. If that ambulance was there, they were there for 45 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they, at some point, pronounced them dead. God
Right.
rest his soul. But where did they go after that they couldn't take the body to the hospital?
That's what I just said.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Unless they were
Why
on another emergency call, they had called out. None of that has been brought up. I hope they would not have abandoned the man just because they did get another emergency call.
Mhm.
I don't mean after they pronounced it.
Right,
After he's pronounced, if they got a call, you got to go. Lights and siren. But if they were not on another call, take him, put him in the unit, and respectfully take him to the ER, which is where you will have to go
Right,
more straight away
right.
to the morgue, which is probably after you pronounce him, where they would have gone. Sometimes a doctor will come out and officially make
Right. Officially.
Make a call.
Right.
and they'll come right out of ER, do it at
Right.
the unit. I've been there. I don't know if that's still there at Onslow or not. They have in the past because I've been on those. And so they will make that call there, come right out. Yep. And then sign off on it and then go straight away to the morgue.
I just don't understand unless there was some
I don't
huge
know.
ememergency that all the EMS were tied up.
Did
I know
anybody,
we're short.
Did anybody mention that they had something else that they had everybody tied up last night? Last night's
that
meeting?
was not even
I'm sure
discussed.
somebody would have known it if they were. Did you
I'm
not?
sure they'll be investigating. If you have to call an EMS unit from Hubert to answer a call from one in Jacksonville, so the one in Jacksonville can transport a body to the hospital, do it. So I'm sure there's going to be an investigation into this,
Yeah.
and I'm sure
Well,
there's going to be changes.
I don't know, an investigation. I think maybe a check of the policy. Let's
Well,
just
yeah.
examine the policy. It doesn't have to be investigated. We got a policy here. Okay, we've got into a situation where the policy is flawed.
Yeah,
It may never happen
absolutely.
again,
Yeah.
but in case it does, we have to have a backup plan.
And I like I said, I'm not blaming any commissioner. I'm not blaming the county manager. I'm not blaming our EOC. But this happened. It's Charlie. There is no reason in this world why it should have taken 3 hours. I don't care what excuse you give me. I am sure that it will be addressed
Mhm.
and fixed. But my condolences to the family, to
Oh,
the
yes.
business, to
Yeah.
the friends. I will say I give him kudos for doing such an eloquent job speaking before the commissioners last night, because I don't know that I could have
We got a couple of callers
done
here.
that. Yes.
Okay, Charlie, hold on a minute. Who's this? Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie.
So just very briefly, you guys, I only call like 50% of what you guys are talking about. Turns out that you guys want some sort of expectation met. You want people in positions of authority to have answers to questions. Here's the reality. You're not going to get certain answers. Human beings are flawed. They are ridiculous. And I'm listening to you guys. You're like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't this happen? Why didn't this happen? There's a reason why, because human beings are idiots.
No, in this
You're
case,
missing the whole point here, Charlie.
this was a system breakdown,
Yeah, it was a failure in the system.
not people.
Had nothing to do with people.
Because Charlie, the EMS that were there did their job, but the system, that the way it's set up, that I understand it, is somebody is contracted from another county to come take care of situations like this. That is a system problem, not a person problem.
And they were tied up and they had the 3-hour wait. And we're not going to leave somebody, one of our
But
citizens, lying on
human beings
the.
are failures. Human beings are failures. You want them. We want people in positions of power, and you want them to do something. All of us are failures. That's what you have to accept.
I don't
The
believe
people that are in positions of power, they're idiots.
Okay, tell you
All
what,
of us are
Charlie.
idiots.
Tell you what, Charlie. You go back to the bottle and you accept all you want. Goodbye.
Okay, dokie. Anyway, no, I don't believe that people are failures. I believe that, like you said, this was a system
It was a system
failure. I respect our county commissioners. I respect our government here. They've taken good care of us. This was a system failure.
Now, and I'm sure with the two folks who spoke last night, that and with at least a couple of the county commissioners
Right.
paying due diligence attention to
Yes.
this,
Oh,
I think
yes.
something will come about.
They did
Definitely
a great job. They did a great job speaking. And see, folks, that's how you do it. You get up
Yeah.
there and you be respectful
Mhm.
instead of some of the ones that want to come up there and yell and scream. So,
If just taking from what I've heard, and again, I wasn't there and I didn't know the policy about that.
I didn't know either
So
until I heard it.
There was a policy, or a bid was put out. Another county took it, and sadly, the first time that it had to be, that we know of, the first time that it's had to be institutionalized, used, it didn't work. Means that's not the answer. Fair?
Yeah, I don't know what the answer, the solution is. Perhaps personally, I would have declined a bid from another county. I'd have put it out for bids again, or we would have, EMS would continue transporting.
Well, I know in the budget that
How's that sound?
I know
Yeah,
in the
I like
budget
it.
that they've budgeted more money for EMS services, more money for the fire departments, like we've already had that
Yep.
big discussion, which more fire departments have signed on. So, and I know that the county manager said they've opened up 56 more positions. They budgeted for that. Now, I'm taking it that, we lost a lot of people as far as being employed by the county after the whole COVID thing, and it just continues and continues, and people went elsewhere. So it's not like they're inventing brand new positions. A lot of this 56 jobs, they're filling to backfill. And, of course, they're going to be hiring more EMS. We need that.
Mhm.
And one of the commissioners was upset last night saying that he thought that by the county adding 56 more jobs, that it was going to send us into a deficit. But I don't
know.
see that. I don't know. But
We'll have to see.
I think that we need these people.
Okay, so we're talking about Camp Lejeune and things. Let's
Huh?
just bring you up to speed here. You guys who have to use the bases at Marine Corps Air Station or Camp Lejeune, here's some information you need to know. Today, tomorrow, and the 20th, there are going to be some changes in some of the routes and whatever's happening. Gates at both of these locations will be closed or altered to both inbound and outbound traffic for 3-hour periods. Today was one of them. We got this last night. Tomorrow and the 20th. And then they mentioned June 19th. Okay, so the Holcomb Gate will be closed all day on the 20th.
Mhm.
All right, I mean on the 19th, all day on the 19th. The schedule changes for today. Oh, you still got time to reroute. Robert L. Wilson Boulevard, Marine Corps Air Station, New River. They're going to be closed from 8:30 to 11:30. The Robert L. Wilson Boulevard entrance to the air station closed today from 8:30 to 11:30. The Douglas Gate closed from 11 o'clock till 2 p.m. The Piney Green Gate this afternoon from 1 till 4 p.m. Midway Park Gate today from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. I'll give you these and you can post them on our site too. Thursday,
Nice.
tomorrow the 19th, Holcomb Gate, you know where that one is, going to be closed from 8:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. Either get there before 8:30 or.
That's the sinkhole that was near the Wilson Gate.
Whoops.
Yeah.
That's
I know
off,
Kelly sent me that this morning.
that's
They
off
were-
the road, right?
Yeah, no, that's on.
It's on-
That's well, that's
It's on the road.
the
Yes, it looks
turning
like
lane.
Is it a turning lane or is
Yeah,
it bike lane? I
That's
can't
the
tell.
lane. But yeah, so that they were working on it yesterday.
Okay. Wednesday,
Continue.
the 18th, tomorrow, Sneeds Ferry Gate from 2 to 5 p.m. Okay. Stone Bay Gate from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. Those are some crucial times for a lot of you folks out there, so pay attention to it. Friday, Wilson Gate, again, close 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. Friday morning. Cam Johnson Gate, closed from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's on Friday. Okay, gotcha.
And you know what, Rayford? I wouldn't doubt that all that may change here in the next couple days.
Don't you know it will?
I can tell you, going on, we went on base yesterday to the Wilson Boulevard off 24 entrance, and it still has that snake one lane to get on,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming off the base,
Sneaky.
they've reduced the speed limit to 15 miles per hour,
Uh-huh.
which is slow. I mean, you're crawling out. Of course, people are still going through it, but I'm curious whether or not it's about the barriers, those ones that pop up.
Uh-huh.
Then they have them level to the ground, and then they have barriers, and they'll put the flashers on when those barriers are up on top of the other barriers. That
Uh-huh.
I have
I don't
news.
know.
The tree company's at my house. I may be able to see my backyard
Late
by the end
breaking
of the
news.
day.
Yay.
I'm so
The
excited.
little things on earth that really
It's
make
the
her
little
happy. Get her
things.
excited.
It's a little thing. Now I can treat. Now to do that, then I'll start working on the mole problem.
Okay, we've read about it earlier, and
Yes.
I've seen about it. Onslow cops, lawmen responded to a report of a juvenile who had sustained a gunshot wound at a residence located in the 200 block of Horizon Lane. Deputies quickly arrived. They located a 5-year-old male with an apparent injury to his left hand, a gunshot wound. The juvenile transported by EMS to a local hospital for further treatment and is reported in good condition, stable condition. The preliminary investigation shows the injury was caused by the accidental discharge of a gun inside the residence by the juvenile. Nobody else shot him. Nobody else was playing with the gun. He got it, or he, she, whatever. A handgun was recovered. The juvenile was not a resident at the address. He lived somewhere else. He was not a resident at the address and was visiting a relative at the time of the shooting. In North Carolina, people are screaming and hollering about this thing, but in North Carolina, here, let me read you what the law is. It's illegal to store a firearm in a way that allows unsupervised minors to access it. Specifically, if a minor gains access to a firearm without permission and then uses it to commit certain actions, the person who stored the firearm could be charged with a misdemeanor. These actions include death, not in self-defense, or using it to commit a crime. The law also states that individuals who own or possess firearms and reside with minors have the responsibility to store them securely. Doesn't mention anything about visitors, according to the state law. I'm sure that the interpretations of this state law are going to be different. If I have somebody coming over to my house, because I don't have any kids living here,
Okay.
I seldom have anybody under the age of 18 coming to see me. I don't want them. I'm just kidding.
Mhm.
My grandchild is over 18, so I don't have to
Right.
worry about her. For instance, does the law apply to me? Do I have to worry about locking everything down, putting chains around everything, or can I just handcuff the kids when they come in? Can I
That's a
secure them?
thought.
Can I secure them in one room that is a safe room that they can't just go moseying around?
Grandma, Grandpa's got me handcuffed.
You won't be able to use the phone to make that call. No, but seriously, what is the responsibility? First of all, we should be reasonable in our as firearm gun owners. We need to
Absolutely.
be reasonable.
Absolutely.
Locking every gun away with every bit of ammo sometimes may not be the reasonable solution. Locking a weapon that you have for self-defense purposes away
Mm-hmm.
defeats that. You ever tried to unlock a gun safe when somebody's breaking in your house? That's worse than calling 911, because calling 911, at least they'll get there.
I'd be like, wait, before
And
you
if I-
actually break in, let me find my gun.
And if that safe is a combination safe,
Right.
yeah, try to remember that in the dark. Uh-huh.
Right.
Think about it. There are biometric safes. If you are that concerned, there's a safe that you can put on your bedside with your gun in it, your pistol in it, it recognizes your 4 fingerprints. You program them in there. Ain't nobody else can get in there, but if they're holding your right hand down, you're toast. But you understand, there are ways to make sure that you will be safe.
Right, exactly.
There are gun locks. Would you please, Vanna, would you bring those 2 gun locks over here?
Where
You
did they
put them
go?
over there. They were given to us.
Put them anywhere.
They were red.
Right, all right.
They're right over there on that table where you left them.
Right.
If you absolutely don't have one, and you would like to secure your weapon and you don't have the money to go buy a safe, these are cheap. And I got 2 of them right here. You call me if you need one. I've got a padlock for your gun.
They're almost like a bicycle lock.
You can
you
put
know?
it, you can chain it to somewhere, keep them from moving somewhere.
Right.
Here is a clue. I really should pull a gun and show you how to do it. Put your padlock, get yourself a padlock that will fit behind the trigger,
Mm-hmm.
behind
Mm-hmm.
the trigger, inside the trigger guard.
Yeah.
You put a padlock there. If you're worried about somebody stealing it, attach a chain to it
Right.
and put that chain, loop it around something that does not move in your house.
Back in the
The
day.
kitchen sink,
Back-
or whatever you want to do. But if you put it behind the trigger guard, I don't care
Well-
what you do. You cannot cock that pistol. You cannot pull the trigger on that pistol.
Right.
It cannot
Pretty
be
good.
done.
Great idea.
Well, back-
Cops had the best in the day before these things
Right.
came out, had the best solution for it because we all were issued them. Handcuffs. We handcuffed
what I was
behind the
gonna say.
trigger guard, click. We handcuffed the other end to something that did not move. Well, guess what we got now? I got a secured weapon.
Well,
Readily available.
I didn't put the handcuffs there. I would open the weapon, like on the revolvers, open it
Yep.
and then handcuff around the
You
frame.
can do
And
that.
that way it couldn't be slack closed. But as far as putting it behind the trigger, sometimes those handcuffs would slide, So I found it always good to put it on the frame.
You put it in between. What are they going to slide to do?
No, if you had one right now, I'd show you. But what
Oh, I
meant,
got one
but-
right now, but I'm not going to show you. You're not going to show me.
Well, we don't need to do it now. Accidental discharges on air,
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want EMS coming.
We do enough of that verbally.
Yeah, we'd be laying here for 3 hours.
Not to get away from
I'm
the
not
guns,
letting it go.
But going back to the county commissioners, they did pass the budget last night.
Yes.
Yes, they did. Yay.
And your tax rates are not going to go up. Are your
Yay.
taxes going to go up? Yes.
Yay. Well, we have a property reassessment coming soon.
Again.
Well, what do they do it
I haven't
every?
got over the last one yet.
You and me both.
Now, the reason I say yes, your property taxes are going to go up is because your home is now
real
your home is
estate's-
now worth more
Mhm.
than it was before,
Right.
and your tax rate is a percentage. It's based upon your taxes. The amount
Right.
you pay is based upon a percentage of the value of your property.
Right.
A percentage of how much your property is worth is what you pay in real taxes. If your property, the value of your land went down, you'll pay less. Ain't nobody's property go
No, it's
down
going
because that's the
down.
reason they have they have reason they have these
Not unless they do it after a hurricane.
assessments on a regular basis so that they can raise the property, get more money.
I'm telling you, I'm almost tempted to tell everyone in my family, sell your houses. Let's put our money together, go buy a piece of land and put tiny houses.
Yeah.
I'm just done.
Well, I got a friend that wants me to do that with him now. Move to another county, and it's no property. The property taxes are the lowest in the country, in the state,
Right.
and there's no city that you don't have any double taxation. And then but he said, Bob, we'll buy a chunk of land out here, and we'll build a main house here and a main house there, and you buy 15 acres of land, and you can have 2 acres each, and just have people that you like. I said, this is called the compound. Robbie and I've had that thought process for decades.
Well, I will say that I think it was Tim Foster, the chairman, last night brought up the fact, or it might have been the county manager, one of the two, that did bring up the fact that even though, our property, our taxes are like, 7% or something, I forget. But anyway, he said that we're still listed in the top 10 lowest in the state of North Carolina.
I would go to the lowest with no city taxes to
With a
be involved too.
No
No
give me an
trailer,
RV.
no trailer, because
No, one with the wheels on, you can just take it wherever you want to go.
Well, forget
RV.
that. I'll
Let's
just
do an
take the
RV.
boat, go where I want to
You
go.
can sleep in the boat.
Find me.
Pitch a tent over top of it.
Oh,
Well, I know you have
I got
cabin,
a
but
cabin with a head.
yeah, but during a bad rainstorm, you don't want it to get wet inside.
You're talking about the taxes and your property and things like that. There's a development just down the road from you. Just down the road.
Outside the city.
Uh,
The city
Yes.
stops at Lynchburg.
right. Okay. Well, they're close to there. And one
This
of the
side of Food Line.
yeah.
Right.
And one of the homes in there, I know the lady there, and I think the house when they bought it was $275,000. So now $800,000.
Uh-huh.
I had
Well, right now I can make more off my house than what I paid for it.
Well, yes, you should.
I mean, what it was valued at the time that I bought it.
Yeah.
Is twice that value
Is that
now.
all?
Oh, well,
It's probably more than that.
Probably.
It
yeah.
might be on the tax books for being valued at that. But I guarantee
I'm
you-
still upset. Does having a double car garage make your taxes go up over
Let
having
me
a
tell you
single
what you
car
do.
garage?
Let me tell you what you do. You get yourself a lean-to, or build a lean-to and
Uh-huh.
attach it to your house, or a big awning and attach it to the front of the house.
Right.
You're going to pay more
Right.
because you just increase the square footage, and they will charge you for it.
Well,
They charge back here.
Speaking
Back
of
here,
that,
my dad put a little lean-to on the shop back here.
Right.
Had a little tractor so he
Right.
could keep it out of the weather. A
Right.
lean-to, 6 4x4
Wow.
poles in the ground, a little
Right.
metal roof on the
I
top
thought
of it.
about doing that with my
So
show.
he pays more for it. That's listed as a tax increase.
That brings to mind,
Uh-oh.
and I've been wanting to bring this up.
Value is what it is. Not
I will just say, I will not identify this person other than a family member in case the city's listening.
I know that.
A
Making notes.
family member, every year they have an above ground pool that they put up in their yard. It's fenced in property, well protected. They put this pool
another
up.
county.
They put city water in there. They go down and pay the fee after they filled out the thing. Been doing this for year after year
Shouldn't do
after
that. Call the
year.
volunteer fire department, let them pay them to fill it up for
Right.
you.
It
There's no
doesn't.
record of
It
it.
cost her. Yeah, well, true. Well, maybe they should have done because
Now
this
there's a
time
record.
this family member went down to the water department to pay
Uh-huh.
for filling it up, and they said, "Where's your permit? Do you have a permit to put this
That's what
pool
I
up?"
say. Don't go talk. Don't.
And he's like, "What are you talking about? Did you know you're supposed to have a permit to put up an above ground pool?"
Uh-huh.
And they said that he was going to have to get a survey on his backyard and then sketch on there where the pool was going to be and pay a permit fee. He said, "What?" And every year he takes it down and then summer puts it back up. And they're telling him that if you have an above ground pool and you live in the city, you're supposed to obtain a permit.
What?
I'm like, yeah. I mean, I said, don't hire a surveyor. Go down to the Register of Deeds, get a copy of your property deed. That should be fine. No, which that family member has not done that yet because that family member right now is like,
Are they
screw
without,
the city.
are they without a pool, or they're going to be inspected?
The pool's up.
They're going to be inspected. They've got a record of him coming down.
What are they going to do?
Send them a bill.
Are they going to do this to are they going to go check every single
No.
house in the city to see if they
You
have
think
an
the highway
above-ground pool?
patrolman's going to clock every car and up and down the interstate? No, but the one he gets is going to pay the ticket
Why are you picking this family member out of everybody in the city?
because he was silly enough to go down there and
You should have paid it online. I told you.
there's still a record.
When did that hit the books?
I meant to research that and find
I've
out.
never heard of such
But
a
the
thing.
thing about it is now, how big of a pool
This
constitutes?
is municipal elections, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I see a campaign possibility here.
how big of a
Like so
pool
sad.
does it have to be that you can you
Lee
put a
lives in the
kiddie?
city. I'm going to sign her up to run for
No.
office. She won't know.
Can
It'll
you
be too
put a
late by
kiddie
the time.
pool out there, or do you have to have a permit for the kiddie pool?
Depends on how big the kitty is.
It's bad enough now if you put your trash can out before 6 o'clock. Guy comes knocking on your door. It's not 6 o'clock yet, and I'm like, you really want to see your next paycheck? Go pick on somebody else.
Uh-huh.
You come to my house on a Sunday afternoon to tell me it's too early to put out my trash can.
What it is if they pick it up on Wednesday.
No, they pick it up on Monday, but they have a rule. You're not supposed to set it out before 6 p.m. the day before that
Well,
you're
you
getting.
can do it up to 5 p.m. After 5 p.m. Not a problem because they're all gone home. The inspectors are not going to.
This is a Sunday. A Sunday he came to my house driving the city truck.
He was just mad because he was having to work, and he finally found somebody.
Somebody said that he got in trouble because he wasn't actually doing his job. So then he decided to go overboard to do his job. And I'm just like going, you come knocking on my door on a Sunday afternoon and telling me my
How
trash
many,
can's
how
out
many
too early.
spares you got for that truck?
Okay.
You're driving.
Don't get me wrong. I love living in the city. My city, your city, our city.
An all-American city. But I got to ask you a question. Does this not sound like sound like a major HOA?
Yeah. We are now living in an HOA. Oh, for God's
Now,
sake.
seriously, you can't have your garbage out until a certain
Good
time?
Lord, look at that huge,
Let me ask you,
You got to have the right to.
that huge truck they got parked in my grass. I don't care. Get
Anyway,
your
back
trees.
to-
I hope you have a permit for it.
Did they run through the yard, through the fence to get it?
No, they're parked on the outside of the fence, but
That's a
they
good
have the crane. That's,
Yeah, reach over.
So are they going to take it away too?
Yes,
Okay. Because if you leave it out front,
it's $20 a cord. The first cord, 4x4x4x4x
Every
whatever,
week you can do that.
is free. It would take me a year, Rayford.
Well, some of us will go by and pick up some of that hard.
is it oak?
It's trees. It's probably got dead squirrels mixed in. I don't know.
If they're fresh, not a problem. With
Oh,
some
my
rice, we're
gosh.
good.
And look, it wasn't even.
Saturday is not running in the family, y'all.
I'm just still trying to figure out this trash rule.
I'm not lying to you. Come talk to my neighbors. Now, I will say that it's been a while since it happened, but every now and then I just have to do it. 3 o'clock, put the trash can out.
On
I'm
a
waiting.
Sunday afternoon. Okay.
No, I respect rules most of the time, but
I'm sorry, say that again. For the record, I wanted to hear the most of the time part.
most of the time I respect. And plus the fact the mayor walks down the street a lot, so I have to be respectful.
Which I got to see him Sunday afternoon at the Ospreys game.
He's done such a great job
Yeah.
with the city.
He
He really
really
has. We're very fortunate in Onslow County that we have good commissioners, we have good city councilmen. I mean, we've been very fortunate. The city's doing well in their finances, the county's doing well in their finances. No big major issues in the county. except for getting an EMS unit to transport you. But
That
other
is
than
a hiccup. I mean, I'm sorry
Yeah,
to
I
say it
know
like
it.
that. There was somebody that didn't take into consideration this.
Right.
If all the well intentions, I'm sure it was. They didn't go out here thinking it's okay, let them lay on the road for 3 hours. No, that's not what they were thinking. They were thinking, okay, we got only people that bid on it. We got them. Oh, they're in Duplin County. Oh, that's only one county away. If it's in Richlands and it happens, they're really close. They're closer coming from Duplin County, from Beulahville or Keatonville, than they're coming from Jacksonville.
I really do
Definitely
believe
faster.
that this will probably never happen again.
Probably
Yeah.
not. And and I don't know when EMS pulled away if they knew what was going on or not. If they knew what the wait was going to be, probably not.
No.
I doubt if that unit was
I'm
out.
just-
They just did what they normally do.
It was just one failure after another failure after another failure, and God bless the family and the friends, and we all thank them for bringing it to the attention of the commissioner, so it could be
and doing it
fixed.
in a way that they did it.
Yes, it was so respectful.
Kudos to them.
So
I'm not sure I could
respectful.
have been that respectful.
No, I don't think I could have, because I'd probably been on the phone during those 3 hours
I'd have been
cussing
walking in
everybody.
and saying, I'd have been grouchy.
Well, what kind of charges would you get if you had actually picked that person up and put him in your back seat?
Illegally transporting a dead body. Can't do it.
What are they going to do? Take my birthday?
Well,
Take your what?
They'll take your birth date, your height, your weight, your picture.
No, I mean, I
Just
don't mean
make
to
sure
be
you put your
making fun
makeup
of
on
it, but
first.
it just broke my heart to hear that last night.
Let's talk about another idiot.
Yes. Oh, okay. Idiot.
Yeah, a 57-year-old idiot. And the media coverage of this guy that accused of shooting, well, he says he did it. So I can call him an announced murderer, right? Confessed murder. Killing a lawmaker and her husband, leaving another lawmaker and his wife wounded. Dressed as a police officer. Here's where I have a problem. Just the writing of that. Dressed as a police officer. He wasn't. He was dressed in a uniform somewhat resembling some uniforms that police officers wear. Possessed an extensive security background. He did not. If you look at his history, his extensive security background, he worked for a company that his wife set up at his direction.
Mm-hmm.
And he's traveling to the Congo to provide security. Really?
Right.
Really? And you look at the website, of which I have, I still got it punched up, and the contact us portion of it, for instance, you put your name, your email, whatever the subject is, it's optional, and then you type a message to them, what you want to know. On this same page that you're supposedly sending information to them for, they got some catalog items for sale, a dump pouch, an Eagle Maritime Award, a Jumpable plate carrier. We need one of those. We need to have a plate carrier that we can jump out of airplanes with the big, thick, bulletproof. They are bulletproof plates in them.
Mm-hmm.
They're heavy. I ain't jumping out of no danged airplane. It's bad enough if I can get pushed out of one with a parachute on. But you think I'm going to wear an extra 50 to 60 or 70 pounds? No, sir. How stupid is this? Various accessories, including armor, medical supplies, vests, and carriers. This is all on his website. This is what they're doing. They're selling Saigon Sam's stuff. Look at it if you don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Praetorian Guard, Praetorian Guard, and nowhere on there is his name mentioned. Matter of fact, what I've given you is most of it. It's an LLC, Praetorian, how do you pronounce it? Guard, LLC. Shoot us a message. Shoot us a message using the form to the left, or contact us using one of the methods below. There's a telephone number. I'm so tempted to call that on the air.
Do it. Let's
Pick
do
up the
it.
phone and dial it.
Okay.
And as soon as it rings, you let me know.
You'll have to do it.
Okay.
I can't reach it.
We have number?
240.
Is it 1 versus 2?
Just dial.
You don't do one.
You don't?
That one out in the Stone Age.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Good Lord.
793-5042. Are you on line 1? Yep.
All right. Crank it up. You don't need, he's got it on speaker.
That's a, I don't know. It's
What's wrong with you?
a long night.
What's this guy's name?
Tell me you want to hire them.
What area code is it? They wake you up.
Shh.
I don't know where this company is. Believe it or not. No clue.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, my name is Rayford. Could you have Vance give me a call, please, at 910-333-0139, 910-333-0139. I have some security questions I'd like to talk with him about. Thank you.
Whoa.
No, sanity does not run very well through my family. Okay.
Wow, that was insane. Who else can we call? All right.
I've just unleashed a monster, haven't I?
Let's call Trump.
No.
Let's find out what's going
There's
on.
too many people. We'll probably get a call back from somebody who's monitoring that line, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Okay. It's okay.
Wow.
It'll be fine.
But
I didn't give them too much information. Let them run that number and see what they come up with.
Speaking of President Trump, if I can, just for a second. So he left G7 yesterday before dinner to go back to the White House. What I thought was interesting was the reporter. They're calling in now. Is that them? I don't know, Lee.
It's Charlie.
But I mean, he left the G7 meeting to go back to the White House and told his cabinet, "Be ready."
Yeah.
He was going to have a meeting.
There was so much being
There's a lot of
said
military
last night.
activity that's moving is prepositioned precautionary reasons.
Yes.
That's the reason stuff is happening. Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Trump tells National Security Council to assemble in the Situation Room. He was on his way.
Well, he has to advise them more.
True. But that was coming out. There was things, other things that
probably wouldn't have put that out public.
well, this was by a news reporter, but it's something that
Again, I would not have put that
I
out.
don't like. And he's the president, and we all know that Donald J. Trump likes to put stuff out. He says Iran should have signed the deal.
Yep.
I told them to sign. What a shame and a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. I don't agree with putting that out publicly.
I wouldn't. No. That's
He's the president. I mean,
now he's really spitting in their face. Now's not the time. If you want to get this thing settled without throwing bombs back and forth, then say, Mr. whatever Khomeini is.
right. I mean, here's a picture right here.
Now is the time to be talking. Do you not agree? You should agree. I agree. I think I can get Israel to agree. We all have to sit down at the same table together.
Here's
white flags.
Right. Chinese embassy in Israel advises Chinese citizens to leave Israel through land border crossings as soon as possible. And then here's a picture of a traffic in Tehran of people trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
I just, why are we creating this I mean, we don't really know what's going on.
We don't.
But people are posting stuff.
We've got our eyes on everything else that's happening in this country.
It's coming from our government.
Where are you?
But 1 second, Charlie. But Israel is now saying that it has eliminated Iran's top military commander. But they also said they were going to take out.
They put new ones in all the time.
They were going to take out the top guy.
I know they're aiming for him. That's an assassination then, and that's probably not something that Israel needs to be putting out. If it happens, it happens. Charlie, are you there?
Sorry about that, Charlie. Go ahead.
So I'm curious, in your guys' opinion, which country or which continent is the biggest threat
to the United States of America. Who do you think hates the United States of America the most?
Citizens of the United States in some areas.
Yeah. The one that's going to take the ones that are backing the stuff that's happening in this country. This is my opinion. You asked for my opinion. The organizations may not be a government of, but it's coming from China and Russia through the idiots in Iran because they're just stupid. They've got they're supplied with all sorts of weaponry to do bad things with, and they're stupid enough to use them and draw all the attention from Israel in their direction. And you know what's going to happen then? Israel's going to make dust out of the place. But not these people. I've talked about prepositioning our military now. That's what they're doing. But they have prepositioned people here for the last at least 10 years, China and Russia. And it's not all Chinese or Russians that they're doing this with. They're using people from other countries. They've come across our southern border. They didn't need to get a passport. Country already.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that secretly the Chinese, the president of the empire, whatever his name is of China, do you think they want to annihilate the United States of America? I truly believe that.
Yes, they do.
I truly believe that's okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
It's funny. It's never talked about.
No.
We're always talking about great trade with China. We're in the bed with them. I truly believe that the president of China or whatever his title is, absolutely, they want to absolutely annihilate the United States of America. I truly believe that.
Yeah,
and I think they're like waiting. They want to push that button and they want to decimate all of us. I truly believe that. Am I wrong for thinking that?
No, you're not. His name is Xi Jinping, and he's
Yeah.
he will smile at you.
Xi
He will smile at you,
Jinping.
and he has from day one. He has sat down with other world leaders, including our presidents, plural, and he's smiled the whole time. He's been to the White House. He was gathering intel everywhere he went. Come on.
I've seen it. I like the dog. I like the dog.
Oh, my dog is cute.
He was cold and he was
I love the
shivering.
dog.
And
That dog relaxes me.
I have to-
I call in. I have alcohol problems. But whenever I see that dog, it relaxes me.
Well, good.
No, I truly.
I'm gonna send you a
people are
picture.
missing something.
here he goes.
Give me your email address. I'll send you a picture of him.
No. But since the beginning of time, from my understanding, I'm not a historian. Man has taken over man's land. Man has conquered other man's land. Man has killed other man's land. Man has controlled other man's land.
Yeah.
I truly believe that the Chinese people, they're developing some sort of bomb or some sort of something they're releasing to our world. They want control. And I don't get why this is not talked about daily on the news. They're going to eventually come after us, or we're going to have to go after them. I really believe that. I truly believe that.
Now, if you remember back 3-4 years ago, it was North Korea
Yeah.
that everybody was worried about.
Yeah. The pipsqueak, the pimple.
Him and his sister,
Well,
and now
have you
it's
seen her lately?
Hey, did you guys see that thing a couple weeks back when when the president of North Korea, that little short fella, they deployed a boat, like this massive boat that was going to be like this, like it was going to defend the country,
Yeah.
and they lowered it into the water.
Glub,
I
glub,
guess
glub.
the thing like toppled over.
Yeah.
They probably spent $1 billion on this boat,
Mhm.
and they put it into the water, and it like went. It literally put.
They don't
It's
have a
put over
history
the
of
water.
shipbuilding in that country. If you thought about it, they're not the world's greatest, known for being the world's greatest shipbuilders. The only thing that
I
they've got,
guarantee
they've got
you
one of our
probably-
ships. They got one of our naval vessels still in custody, in captivity.
He probably killed the engineers of those boats. It's really funny. I'm not sure if your audience is listening. Literally, they spent probably millions of dollars on this boat,
Mhm.
and then the president went to watch this boat being launched. They lowered it into the water. I guess it flipped over and it started sinking. It's kind of funny when you think about it.
It is.
Anyway,
I laughed all the time when they do things like that. Or have you seen them when they shoot stuff straight up in the air, like they're going to launch some kind of a
Yeah.
rocket, and it comes tumbling back down to earth? They have to run to get out of the way. They're not real brilliant.
but his troops.
It is amazing. I don't know. Hey, do you guys know what the? Do you know what the population of? I do not know. Do you know what the population of North Korea is?
Too
Is
much.
it 10 million? Is it 1 million? Is it 50 million?
I don't know. I'd have to Google it.
But you think about this guy, this idiot guy who's massively overweight. I think most of the citizens in North Korea, they're very skinny. This clown, this bozo the clown.
But I dig his haircut. Don't you like his haircut? You got to admit he's got a great haircut.
Well, yeah, I mean,
The bowl
but think about this guy. This guy controls all of these poor people. I'm sure most of these people are wonderful, kind, generous, loving people, and this dictator controls these people. Hey, I got to go, but one last thing.
Okay.
I was talking to a good friend of mine earlier, and we both talked about where we would most like to visit anywhere in the world. We both said North Korea. I would love to go to North Korea.
Well,
I
then
would love to see-
you'll be there with 26. The number you were looking for, Charlie, 26.5 million
Wow.
in North Korea.
Is that the population?
Yes, that was back in 2023.
But jokes aside, would you guys like to visit and see
No.
how these people live? Wouldn't
No.
that be amazing?
No, I know how
No.
to live.
No,
All right, I got to go, but I would love to see how they live. Take
All
care.
right,
Bye.
take care. Have a blessed day.
I'd have to carry guns big time, and I don't have. There's no way I could get that much in there, and that'd be just a step 1 foot across the border. Good God, you'd have to fight your way out.
That's not one of the ones on my bucket list to visit.
Yeah, I will never be there. South Korea is great, but they're under the gun all the time.
Well, I had a friend who, on business, went to China last year. China.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh. Did he come home?
No, she works for a company here in Jacksonville, and
She made it a round trip.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, she made it back.
So we're getting ready to do weather, and you were talking about Tornado Alley, how it's growing more east. I just saw a post about, and Kansas is right there in Tornado Alley.
Mhm.
This is this morning. Some hurricane force winds early this AM across Kansas. 101 mile per hour winds were recorded near Wichita in a line of storms.
Getting the kites out, y'all.
Good Lord.
Marine forecast out to 20 nautical miles. Southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 this afternoon. 3 to 4 footers, 5 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Becoming messy this afternoon. And I want to talk a little bit about that Big Rock Marlin tournament. We didn't get a chance to talk much yesterday. So
know.
you got your mess queued up, right?
My weather?
No.
No, you're
No, but
You got it in mind.
Big Rock.
We got it.
Yeah.
I'm giving you time to stall here. Westerly
Stall. Wind
tomorrow,
stall.
winds out of the southwest, 15 to 20 knots, gusts up to 25 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet, sounds and rivers kind of choppy. Thursday, southwesterly winds, 15 to 20 knots with gusts to 25 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, sounds and rivers a bit choppy. That was sort of a sing-song thing.
You sound good. Today afternoon, scattered showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny with a high near 91. Heat index values as high as 102. Southwest wind 5 to 9 miles per hour with gusts as high as 16. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 73. Wednesday, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, sunny with a high near 94. Heat index values as high as 106. And Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, sunny with a high near 94.
notice I said nothing about the heat index this time.
It's going to be. You're going to glisten a lot.
All right, let me see.
Okay, the 68th Big Rock Marlin tournament is being planned for right now.
Yes.
Okay, they plan for it a year in advance.
Yes.
Now, after you talk about all this stuff here, the one question I'm going to have: Do you think that after a few situations that the tournament folks are going to sit down and say, let's re-examine some rules?
No.
You don't think they will?
No.
No.
None.
Not Rule
No.
24.
I have a problem with Rule 24 myself, but I don't do that. I don't.
Steve, well, I found out the basis of why they created Rule 24. They explained it.
Because they didn't want somebody to get caught with it.
Well, Rule 24 is if you catch a fish and you get it on board and it's been mutilated, you can't, it's disqualified from the tournament.
It's just wasted.
And well, they said the reason why, and not that they're saying this has happened, but the reason why Rule 24 is in place is because, you're fighting that big fish.
Uh-huh.
You're bringing them up to the back of the boat.
Uh-huh.
You've got to get them into the boat.
Uh-huh.
There is a chance that a person may take and bring that big fish up against the propellers to kill it in order to get it into the boat.
Really?
Yes. And I don't think that's ever happened. Unless it was a long time ago. But
that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that one.
They said that was the basis for Rule 24. So it happened during this tournament where the Southern Grace brought in a beautiful marlin. It was like 649 pounds or something like that.
Would have been bigger.
And they got it. They got it up and it was hanging, and you could tell it had. To me, I wouldn't have been able to call whether it was a bite mark or if it was just from fighting it and bringing it up. But there was a rule; it was mutilated, and as a result,
real true. I've got a question because I did not follow it that well. But one of the reports was that they spent a long time reeling that big thing in
from the bottom
because it was on the bottom because it was dead.
Yes, they said that they felt like that it had died
during
the fight, and it had, of course, sunk because of it. And so they were having to bring that thing up from the bottom.
I was thinking shark bite.
Yeah, 600.
Yeah, you would think so.
Almost 700 pounds trying to bring that thing up from the bottom.
6.5 hours, I believe, is what they said.
Yes, 6.5 hours.
Okay, Steve-O, you ever caught a big old marlin?
I have not. And don't really have no desire to.
Okay, have you ever gone out that far? Have you gone out that far, Steve?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I've gone just out of sight of shore, but no further than that.
Too far.
Been 50 miles.
Well, no, I take that back. I did go on a cruise ship one time, and that went quite up.
Love cruises.
They didn't have no outriggers.
No, you didn't put any lines overboard. Like in the middle of the night, you didn't drop a line overboard in the middle of the night or anything like that.
No, but I did make fun of them with the outrigger joke. I told them it was messed up that they had skeet shooting, but they didn't have no daggone rod holders on the back of it.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, you got that. You got putt at the top.
Yeah.
Everything but fishing.
I was going to say about that Rule 24. That's I get the reason for it, but I also know that those people, when they're bringing those fish in, that they attract sharks.
Yes, they do.
A long ways off, and they're out there so long
do.
That, a shark can smell from a mile away, blood in the water.
Yep,
and so
rapid movements.
They easily have enough time to get there.
No,
I can see where that's a hard thing.
Not being one that fishes in these things, and I won't go over a mile offshore.
Right.
Can you swim a mile?
Yeah, I can swim.
Can you touch bottom out there in a mile offshore? You better not feel.
I haven't tried it, but I could swim if I had to. But if you bring it on and you see it's mutilated, are you just bringing it back for what purpose?
To hopefully that maybe they'll determine that it was from maybe gaffing it with a big hook and yanking it up, or if you catch a 600 pound
if you got him
marlin,
up that far,
you're gonna bring him no matter.
Leaving him overboard,
right?
What's the purpose of bringing them in, and you know you're going to get disqualified?
You assume that you're going to get disqualified. I would count on being disqualified, but there may be some anomaly here that we don't know about. That the judges may say, okay, I can't say for sure. Yes, it's kind of mutilated, but how long? I don't know. Was it a shark bite or was it something else? We don't know. Then they might let it slide.
That's right.
In this case, even if they had thought about letting it slide, it was not going to happen because they already had disqualified one boat, 2 years ago?
Sensation 2 years ago. Well, see, marine biologists are the ones that they consulted with. They were there. And when they first brought that up, and I saw Tommy, he's looking for the weight, and he's checking the whole
she
thing.
knows all the names of people by first name, right?
Stick with me.
Jesus.
But
Stalker.
he's checking it and he's looking at it, and appeared to me it didn't look like a bite out, but I'm not a marine biologist, and I
You
would have
haven't
said
seen
what
that
a
many
slime.
shark bites, have you?
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
I've
Steve.
seen.
Sorry, Steve.
I saw when the
That's okay.
sensation brought theirs in, and it definitely looked like a shark, but it looked like Pac-Man had got a hold of it.
I was going to say, Rayford, I'm sure you came across it many times, but I've seen it at the pier a lot where they're catching kings
You mean the
and
heads of
they're
a
reeling
king?
it in, and all of a sudden it gets easy and they reel in half a king.
Yeah.
But you know what's heartbreaking?
And, with Spanish too,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
heartbreaking
So I've
is
seen spinner sharks come after Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually trying to reel them in before the shark can get to it.
Oh, yep. Been there,
Can
done
you-
that.
Can you imagine though, Steve? You're out there reeling, and say you're in your 4th hour of fighting that thing, and you're getting them towards the boat, and all of a sudden, here comes the shark. Bam!
If you see that
Oh, yeah.
sucker coming, I
I
know
was
what's
gonna
going to
say, it
happen.
has to happen more often than
Bang,
not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is just.
Well, where fish are, so go sharks.
Of
I
course.
need to put that on the wall
Yeah.
for everybody to understand it.
It's their
If there
home.
are fish there, sharks are going to be there. Marlin are not going to be
Absolutely.
there unless
And
there are
once you-
smaller fish there, so they can eat
Yeah.
the smaller fish, and the sharks are going to be there to eat whatever is available.
Absolutely.
Most bigger fish are going to bleed when you hook them.
Yeah,
It's going to make it that much worse.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's called-
It's
Show
gonna
me.
get the sharks excited.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to give you a garden update this morning, Rayford.
Oh.
Cutting the little side shoots off the tomato plant.
Yeah.
Just poking
Yeah.
a hole with my finger and sticking them
Is
in.
it
I got
working?
6 of them that are a foot tall.
Hot
It's about a
dang.
50% success rate, but
Cool.
that's with no
Mine.
rooting powder. If you
Yeah.
use rooting powder, it might get 100%.
Yeah.
But,
well,
I would say I'd also have to make a disclaimer that I do have drip irrigation through those beds,
Yep.
and I'm putting it
Yes.
right beside the drip irrigation.
Lots of
So,
water.
Yeah, it gets plenty of water. But then I had one that I thought died, and so I was pulling the mulch back to put some top dressing and some cow manure and some stuff around the plant.
Yeah.
So I pulled it out because I thought it didn't make it. And when I pulled it out, it had 2 little roots hanging off the bottom of it.
Oh, put that
Wow.
sucker back
So
in
it
there.
was- I did. I poked the finger and I put it back in. And I was, but even though it looked like it was dying, it was on its way coming back, and it did. It came
Good.
back. So
Hey, can I ask you farmers something?
Farmers.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
you're not farmers, garden growers.
I wish I was a farmer.
Well, Steve,
No,
I'm
but
sending you pictures later. I've
I-
got zucchini that's over 12 inches
Okay.
long.
I admire all 4 of you, or all 3 of you, for your gardens
Mhm.
and what you talk about. Because where I was at the meeting last night out near Comfort, the gentleman took me to his backyard and showed me his corn and
Oh my.
his tomatoes.
Mhm.
I mean, I could see the tomatoes from his back porch, and they were green. He goes, "Yeah," and I pulled off a whole bunch of green tomatoes and fried them. Yeah, do y'all actually eat green tomatoes
Other
fried?
people do. My wife does. I like them red. I
Steve?
like them ripe.
Steve?
I don't really care for the green tomatoes. It's okay, but it's kind of like fried squash to me. They're just to me, it's a little mushy. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I have a
my
question.
wife, once again, just like a lot of people, my spouse loves it, but
Yeah.
I have a
not my favorite.
squash. I have a squashin.
You have
I'm
a
thinking squash.
squashkin.
I have a squashing. This is the first year that I've done so well with squash and zucchini. I'm gonna send you some pictures, but
You're jinxing yourself. You know that, right?
I don't care. Anyway, have you ever tried? And this is a serious question. Have you ever tried growing spaghetti squash? Because that's actually my favorite.
I'm not a big squash fan. I've tried
Well,
some of it, but yeah.
All right. Let me tell you a little bit about spaghetti squash. If you haven't
I love
ever
it.
had any or tried it, it ain't squash like you and I were familiar with.
Right.
This is a big old hard
Okay.
thing. You can't cut it with a bandsaw, basically. You got to put it in the oven. I put it out. What? You don't look at me
No, I
like
have a
that.
question. Is
Yeah,
that
I
got
never
like
had
little
that.
knots on it?
No.
Okay.
I do buy spaghetti squash at the
It's so
store. I have
healthy.
not tried to grow
So
one yet,
good.
but I'm going to be growing some. And this, you put it in the oven. I put mine in there at
Mhm.
180 degrees on a cookie tin, right? And
Right.
I let it cook for about an hour and a half, and then I take it out and see if I can stick a knife through it real easy. Like if I can't, it goes back in. And I don't cook it fast. You can, but you're going to burn stuff, and it's not going to be the same.
Right.
Put it in there just so you can get a knife through it. Cut it lengthwise.
Yep. Scrape that stuff out.
Get either a fork. I've got a special fork. It's like 5 tines across.
Right.
Fine little blades. And I get all the stuff out of the middle, which means basically the seeds. It's a little bit like looking like a cantaloupe at this point in your life.
Yes.
And you get that part out there. And then when all the seeds and stuff are out, you take that fork and you just scrape the meat. And it comes out looking like spaghetti noodles.
Yes.
Really fine, super fine spaghetti noodles. And when you get ready, you're okay to eat it just like it is, but with spaghetti sauce or whatever sauce you want to put on it. Other night, I just had a little bit of, what did I put on it? Put some butter on it.
Yeah.
a little bit left over.
Cheese if you want
Put a little bit of
yeah.
butter on it, melted, poured it over. I had some clams out of a can that I had not used all of them up. That and the juice, poured some of those on it. And I had 4 leftover shrimp from my couple of days before.
Right.
4 of them left over from my Blackstone. And I put those on there. And Steve, it's enough to kill for.
Yeah, I make a regular spaghetti meat sauce.
Oh, I do
and
too.
I put that over mine, and I
do the
love
regular
it.
sauce. I do Alfredo sauce. I mean,
Yes.
you can use it so many ways. It's not squash.
Good.
It's not the squash that you and I kind of grew up with, which I
Right,
can
like
take or which I can take or leave.
Yeah.
So give them a whirl sometime.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
I hate giving recipes away. Maybe I should sell them. If you want a written copy of this, give me a call and send me $9.95.
Follow me for
Seven
rest.
recipes there, right?
Yeah.
I canned some soup last
Don't that
week.
sound good?
Yeah, well, I've got a I'm on a website. I've got it saved on my computer. Something that says every time I find a new recipe that I like, one that I'm trying, because sometimes I can't remember from time to time what there are, what I did for them, but I'll write it all down and quickly put it on my page.
Well, I canned some soup last week. I took that soup can, unopened, put it in a mason jar, put a lid on it. I'm ready.
I'm gonna stick to bacon cookies.
Follow me for more recipes.
There's something wrong with her, Steve. I think you had her on your drums one time, and you hit her one time too many.
Hey, follow me.
I was going to say on another note,
Yes.
I heard y'all say something earlier that I'd like, it's one of the times that I think we agree. And I'm just going to summarize it that maybe we shouldn't be putting out official U.S. policy on X.
I agree. I
We
agree.
shouldn't put out anything.
I mean, that's a small, a small accomplishment, man. But I believe that a lot of people would agree with that.
I can't think of anyone who would disagree with it, except Red China and maybe the Russian people, and and that pimple over there in North Korea, who needs to be popped. But
I just wish they'd take a little bit more time and before they make these statements. Some people might like the unfiltered side, but
no.
I'd rather see them be a little more professional.
That's why we hire press chiefs. You understand?
I just
Yeah,
don't.
I agree.
I just don't think we
There's a
should
whole
be-
apparatus there that seems to be circumvented by that.
If we're going to do it that way, we just need to save the money on hiring a press secretary and just put
Well,
it
it
out on
caused
X.
a lot of confusion last night. Even the news stations were going like, something's up, something's up. Nobody knew. It was just crazy.
What I found interesting is all
And
the
it
press
seems to
people were
happen like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, which is
Yes.
a very odd time for
Yeah.
this for it to be happening as
But
well.
when he was finishing up with one of the prime ministers, UK, I'm sorry, with the UK, and said he was going back to Washington. The press people were all in vans
Right.
waiting to be transferred, I think, to the dinner, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
So they were just sitting around waiting to know where they were going next.
Did
That's the way it
he?
works. The
Did he leave him?
They call it the press
Press
corps.
corps.
Yes.
Okay.
And they usually go on
Now-
a plane.
Now, here's what I would do with all of this stuff. If I was the man in charge, I would say, okay, I got my press secretary over here. He or she will respond to questions. And if there are questions that he or she does not have the answers to direct, he or she will call me and I will give her my answers. Right? Okay, done. And as far as X is concerned, I have got a guy over here. We call him the propaganda minister. And I want him to put out all the garbage out there so that the bad, stupid people out there will get the wrong message. That's what I would do. It's called propaganda. Don't put it out as fact. Put it out as propaganda and call it what it is. Keep them guessing.
I think it leaves a lot of people confused.
It does. It does.
And it can, take a 180-degree turn in just a matter of minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
And
but anyway, I just wanted to make a note of that I agree with you.
I don't like X. I didn't like Twitter. I still don't like X.
I spend a lot of time on X.
The government to be using it is wrong in all aspects unless you use it for propaganda.
I spend a lot of time on X because if you want to know the secrets of the government, go on X.
Isn't X Twitter?
Yes. Formerly called Twitter.
X Twitter. It's X Twitter, so it's now
Twitter.
just X.
It's just X.
Facebook was Meta.
Elon bought it.
Yeah. Oh.
And he's got a son
And he
named
musked
X.
it up.
SpaceX. Children named X.
Dip X.
No, they made up.
Steve, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome, guys.
Thanks
Y'all
for the
have a blessed
update.
day.
It's one of them days. Bye.
All right, getting back to the Big Rock. Big Trouble is the winner of the 67th annual.
I love the name of the boat.
I know, Blue Rock Tournament, claiming the
Mine would be Troublemaker.
Fabulous Fisherman's Prize at $807,500, and they were looking at a payout with all the other stuff added in at over $2.5 million.
That was just for the second biggest fish.
Yeah. Well, no, they
Oh.
had the biggest fish.
That was but Rayford yesterday, I think it was
Well,
Fabulous
yesterday, asked,
Fisherman was the smaller of the two fish. That was the first fish caught.
They get a prize for the fish over 500 pounds. First one
Okay.
over
who
500.
finished
I
second?
thought it was over 400 pounds.
400 counts, yes. And of course, they were the only one that brought in. Look, all this is confusing. Don't ask me.
Well, no,
Anyway.
because yesterday you were curious if the second place team won more money than the first place
Yeah.
team.
Right.
Well, there's
Well, see, now I will tell you,
The 409.7 pound fish. How much
Wonderful.
money did they get?
they won $603,750 for catching that fish. But see, now,
That was the first fish caught
right. But the thing about it
and
is,
weighed.
I will tell you that, and I'm not being ugly, but whoever is doing their webpage and their Facebook, their social media, has been lacking this year. And if you go in there and look at their page right now, they're showing you under live updates from the 14th. That's the last one that they have in there. And that's on their website.
That was Saturday.
I go to their Facebook, and there's no updates as to actually who got what. Now, I know there were some news stories about it, but
Let's don't do those yet.
none of this
So
has
what does
been
it say
updated.
on Saturday?
It says on Saturday.
Who was first place? Let's just do that first question. How much did the fish weigh? How much did they get?
All I can tell you is they say that Big Trouble is the winner of the 67th annual
Got
Big
that.
Rock
How much did
Tournament.
Big Trouble? How much did the fish weigh? 600 plus pounds.
600 and what was
It
it?
was 637.
Yeah.
And how
They
much money did they get?
they won for that one fish $807,500
For first place.
for that fish, but they're looking at a total payout for winning the tournament of over 2.5 million.
First place. Forget everything else. The first place,
That's what I just said. First
I know,
place.
was $800,000.
No, they won $807,500 for the marlin they brought in.
That's the first. That's the big fish.
Right. But they won the tournament overall, and is looking at a payout of over 2.5
Where did
million.
all of the other money over $1.5 million,
'Cause
$1.7 million come from?
They took the total tournament by getting the biggest fish. And
Would they not get the total tournament with the first place fish? Because the first place fish is going to be the biggest fish.
right, but they also you have all the other points that
That's where I'm asking you. Where did all those other points come from?
your catch and release.
Okay.
You get points for that.
So where else?
I can't tell you everything because they don't have this information on their website.
That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
We need to know.
Big Trouble brought in a 517.1 marlin. The Bank Walker came in second with a 449.7.
pound or 700, 600.
517.1 pounds is what the Big Trouble brought in.
Okay. So it
The-
did not have a 600-pound fish.
No, we're talking the 600 pounder.
He's
is-
disqualified. He's not in
Right.
play. Forget
That's
it.
what we said.
He's out. So the 517-pound fish took first place.
Right.
Okay. And then he got, that's 800 and whatever $1,000.
Right.
And then he got all these other
Right.
Ancillaries.
$1.7 million extra. I want to know where that came from. That's double what the first place fish brought in. So where did all that other stuff come from? How did they get that?
What? I don't understand what you're asking.
So I think
$1.7 million additional.
if they were getting a 2.5 total
Yeah,
payout.
because they won the tournament, and winning the tournament, you get all this extra money.
You win the tournament with the biggest fish.
But he won overall too. Somebody like, say, the Bank Walker brought in the 450-pound marlin. Let's just say they did.
They did.
Okay, but then they had the most releases, the most catch and release, the most this, the most that. So there's points to add up. And they could have ended up taking the tournament with total points.
Well, they got second place. So what was the second place payout on that?
I can't find anything that tells you
Hey, but I
because
want an audit here, guys. Come on.
that's like, and I am not trying to be. I'm just going to be very critical of the way that they handled their social media this year.
I don't care about social
Their
media.
website has
sucks
never
anyway.
been updated. Yeah, but that's where we're getting the information.
You're supposed to get it from their website. That's the official.
That's what I'm looking at right here. It's not even been updated.
That's what I mean. I'm supposed to get it from there. I don't care about social media.
Well, website
Facebook.
is part of social media.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, that's official sites.
Don't argue with me.
I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you facts are facts.
I mean, I'm looking at their
argue in a
Facebook
minute.
page. I'm looking at their
Where's my bamboo
Facebook.
shoot here? Hold on a second.
I'm looking at their Facebook page right here.
That Facebook is social
Would
media.
you listen to me?
No.
The last thing they had on there was 13 hours ago, and they put about the Bank Walker taking home 603,000. You know,
I finally
for
got an answer.
all right. Well, I already told you that.
But what was that
That was
$600,000
for the 449.7 pound blue
no.
marlin.
Was that for second place or was that for the first fish?
That was for the fish. That was for the
I
fish.
know it was for the fish. It wasn't for the bait. Was that prize $600,000? Was that because a second place finish?
It does
Or-
not say.
There you go. Or
It
was
does
it
not
because it was
say.
the first fish?
This
landed?
is their words. Bank Walker. Ow! I'm sorry.
What did you do?
Something was crawling on my arm. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I'm sorry. It was reaction. Poor Shockwave. Chris,
That's
My dog.
I'm sorry. Well, I looked down and it was okay.
People find out in a minute why he's.
I'm
known as
getting ready
an
to go
ankle
into the
biter.
defense mode for you, Rafer.
All right, this is what they say. So figure it out from here. Bank Walker is taking $603,750 to the bank for their 449.7 blue marlin caught.
Doesn't say anything.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
Maybe this caller has the answer.
We got two callers. Caller line one. Good morning. How are you?
Help?
I don't know.
Hello?
Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So
Hello?
when I call into your show, okay, first of all, Rayford, Lee, you guys are great. What is the name of the gentleman
Come here, baby.
on your show right now?
I'm
What
Chris.
is his name?
We call him Sir Chris.
Chris.
You know, there's something really nice about this person. Every time I call him, he is so super respectful.
He'll get over it.
He's got a unique. No, he's got a. No, but I'm watching him. He's got a unique brain, a unique mind. He's very kind. This is a very unique human being. I really like this guy.
That's why we like him in here.
What's that?
That's why we have him in here. He's a nice guy.
I know he brings out the worst in
But
us.
he's always been like super kind to me. And
thank you, Charlie.
I think he's a unique individual. I think he's a great asset. Well, first of all, Kelly's my favorite person on your show.
Okay,
Nobody can
thanks.
replace her, and I wish she was there right now. But Rayford, you know, sometimes I really don't like how you treat me. And Lee, I like it.
We're good.
This is a very unique individual.
If you act right, you'll be treated right. But
Oh,
when,
well,
when you
here
go
you go.
when you go into left field, you're going to be treated accordingly.
No, but everything about this guy, there's nothing negative that I could say about this human being.
Yeah.
Everything about this guy is very positive.
I
He's got a
appreciate
very, he has a super strong personality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that.
He learned everything he
I
knows from his wife.
There's nothing negative. There's nothing negative I could say about you. There's something unique about you as a podcaster or an online personality. You're a great asset to this show. I truly mean that. There's something unique about you.
Oh, thank you.
We call him Chris, but he's also known as the mayor of Jacksonville. We haven't told you that yet, have we?
Oh, not. I appreciate that, Charlie. It means a lot. Thank you.
Chris,
So
Chris
much.
is a very nice guy. Prior radio experience, lots of business experience. So, I mean, you know, he's an all around just a nice guy. And he and his
So did he actually have prior radio experience?
yes,
Was he a radio personality?
Yes.
of course he was. What do you
10
think
years.
What would you do with a voice like that? God.
No, I'm a fan of his. Listen, I always call in. It's always about me, but there's something unique about this character.
Okay.
Not character.
I used to be
All
his
right.
favorite.
Yeah. That's all right. All right. Thank you very much, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chucky. We do appreciate it, sir. Have a great one.
Have a blessed day.
I don't know about calling me Chucky, but okay.
Oh,
Have a
come
blessed
on.
day,
That's
Charlie.
what the abbreviation. That's what the slang name for Charlie is Chucky.
Not necessarily.
It's a term of endearment.
My husband was called Chuck, but his name was not Charles. It was Chester.
Yeah.
That's why he went by Chuck.
I would call him. Will you name Matt Dillon? Okay. Anyway, thank
Have
you.
a great day, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. Bye. And we did have another caller, but caller hung up before
They're
we got going.
scared.
I don't know who it is.
Well, they may have had the answer.
I gave them a chance to talk. They didn't talk.
Oh.
So if you tried to call
Come back.
in, ring us up. If you got the answers to that big rock quiz.
Wait a minute. I found another website. I might
Oh
have
God,
it. No, that's the 65th annual. I'm telling you, Big Rock,
that's 2 years behind.
I know it.
But
Well,
when I talked to someone over the weekend about the Big Rock, do you know what
Yes.
the first thing was?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Of course.
He did have a catch on the last day, but it was release.
Was he on the
So-
boat?
As
Does it?
far as I know, he was on the boat. I know 2 years ago, my sister and I went and we saw him. And when the boat backed up, it was exciting because it was Michael Jordan. And he just was real cool. He just sat back there smoking his cigar. And at one time, he stood up and waved, and the crowd went wild.
Smoking a cigar. That's not good for the children. That's not a good role model.
I will say,
He's a billionaire. Let him do what he wants to do.
but you know what? What I like about him is he went to the Tar Heels. He made the shot in '82 that gave Dean
Yes.
his first NCAA championship, and he never forgot about the school because he just gave them a brand new fleet of buses for the basketball team.
Did you see that?
That
He
worked.
gave them a fleet of buses, and they
Yeah.
were already wrapped and painted
They're
with
wrapped.
UNC on
They're
it.
painted and
Oh, man.
they're player oriented, so
Right.
that they have injuries, they can be treated on the bus
Oh,
while
that's
they're
good.
traveling.
Yeah, he did that
We did
Yeah.
that here.
during the week of the Big Rock. So it might have been a day that they didn't go out, but yeah, he was there. And
Yeah.
what a gracious gift.
Yeah.
What a gracious gift.
He has not forgotten his roots.
No.
He's been to Wilmington.
Wilmington
In
boy.
fact, even when he was a nice big star up there in
Yeah.
Chicagoland, he was
Mhm.
dating a girl at the New Hanover Hospital.
And he gave the janitor, didn't he, at the head of high school that still was working?
Thanks.
He gave him. He
Yes.
was recently gave him a home or something
Yeah, something like that.
because he was still
But we
working.
had,
You know,
yeah,
it's so
the
wonderful.
his limo would pull up and pick up the young lady after work at the hospital when he was in town.
Right.
So,
Here's something I found very interesting.
wasn't
Throw
his
out
only
real
girlfriend.
quick.
I'm sure.
Canada has issued travel warnings based on their international findings.
what, to New York?
Los Angeles.
Not that far
Yes.
off. I don't blame them.
I mean, they are issuing travel warnings, specifically warning Canadian tourists against traveling to Los Angeles,
Here's what they need to do.
owing to the continued clashes between the anti-Trump protesters and both local and federal law
Now,
enforcement.
here's what
officials.
needs to be done. Canada, I would like to see our president request assistance, mutual aid
Mhm.
from the Canadian RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and bring their horses. Bring
Well, I
a whole
don't know.
bunch of them to Los Angeles, deputize them, and put them in
Canada's not
charge.
talking to us, are they? Did we ever get
We go a long ways if they would do that. If we invited them, and they would do it. Well, I think we could probably clear out the streets of Los Angeles and then move them from place to place to place. And I think the next thing we need to do is find some very large people, guys,
Mhm.
those 7-footers.
Yeah.
And we need to get some of those Budweiser Drysdales,
No.
saddle them up,
No.
and let them ride down the streets and back on those
You're not
suckers.
taking those beautiful horses
Those,
to go in
those
there.
Clydesdales.
Oh, they would just walk
God
off.
forbid.
Can you imagine them stepping on somebody's toe? Oh, it's done.
The horses that they've already got police riding out there. I mean, when they
Yeah,
were
they
up
do.
and-
They do. And look,
You ever seen them on the fields galloping?
no,
I've seen the videos.
Saturday night,
Ooh, it's cool.
they come down the stairs of the federal building on the horses. Horse click, click, click. They get
Crump,
down to the
crump,
bottom.
crump.
And when they got ready to push the crowd back, those horses were pawing at the people like this.
Yeah.
Man, if I was standing there and I saw those, I'd be gone. And the people were just like they were trying to antagonize the horses. I'm like, are y'all people crazy?
so
Yeah.
one
They're
of the,
there, aren't they?
one of the good things I think Trump did do, he did say, start getting the immigrants more,
Mhm.
but he said back off of the hotel industries, some of the other ones where they were going in after the workers
Uh-huh.
that were affecting
Businesses.
businesses. And he said,
but give them notice.
give them notice.
Right.
You're on notice.
Yeah.
You need to get your reserve staff up to speed because we are coming to get them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You may as well go ahead and do that. We're not going to show any favoritism to the Trump Towers or to anything else that I own or anything else that's out there, and that includes the Hilton. Y'all better get your own. I'll get some staff in there that can pass muster.
So anybody looking for a job, there's plenty.
Yeah.
There's plenty.
Potentially
Yeah.
plenty of them.
And we've had other states now requesting the National Guard, asking Trump to give them permission to bring in the National
Well, all they
Guard.
got to do is ask the governor.
I know.
The governor of any state can do it.
Missouri has activated it.
Well, they don't have to ask the president.
I know that, but this is just what the story says.
Yeah, I
but
know.
yeah, I know other states have. At Colorado joined states. Oh no, they're opposing the National Guard. Missouri and Nebraska has activated it, and I'm like, I just don't understand why people are opposing it. They're burning down Los Angeles.
You know,
and you
they-
got
they
to
could-
worry over
They
politics.
could go through the records in states like Pennsylvania, like North Carolina. You could go through the records, West Virginia,
Mhm.
Minnesota, and you could get all of the people that you need from the records of the hunting licenses. Get all of those people and tell them to bring the guns. You're going to Los Angeles. We're going to fix these problems. Whoops.
All right.
Ooh.
If you go to factcheck.org, they're going to tell you a whole lot of about who has the authority, who does, and who can be done this.
I
blah,
don't know
blah,
who
blah,
can
blah,
do
blah.
what. I know the governor can call out the National Guard
But you know
in
what?
his or her state.
And you know what? And I'm gonna come out and say, if there'd been a Republican governor, he would have called a Republican president and said, "I'm bringing out the National Guard. What do you think about that? You got any other help for me?" And he would have deployed it. This is a political fight.
It is.
It's all it is. And the people are suffering because of it.
Yep.
What if you own a shop down there in LA, been looted and robbed? Now you're boarded up.
Well, there was a lady shop owner, she owned a wedding dress store, and she asked the rioters, please stop rioting. She
Right.
is Hispanic, and she is pleading with these people to stop rioting, and she's having to close her store, and it's affecting her.
How can you imagine the insurance companies who have
Oh.
those stores as clients? They're probably canceling policies.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would you do? Yeah.
Now, I have an older brother who's retired from the military, and we did not get into the discussion because we respect each other's opinions on this, but he was very put out about having the National Guard and the Marines there. He's got different opinions on it, and I was
I'm
like,
sure.
well, you know.
Well, the
Okay.
National Guard is there to be civilian police as
Right.
necessary, okay, to back up
Right.
civilian police. The Marines are not, however, they can be.
Right.
The history has shown that they have been called out on any number of
Mhm.
occasions. I do not like the fact that we have to call them out.
Oh, I agree.
That's because people are not acting like people.
Well, they may be called back in because, you know, don't know what's going to be happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I can understand that. National Guard, you're going to need those for everything from riot control to hurricanes.
Right.
Oh my God, I've National Guard called out at Carolina Beach and Cuba
Yeah.
Beach, Riceville Beach,
God bless them
and
too.
a number of occasions, even when I was down there, were called in. So, okay, it's time, y'all. It's 9:00. We've done enough damage today, but there's plenty more to do tomorrow.
Sure is.
So please join us. We're going to be talking with Dr. Rosemary Stein tomorrow. Don't know who else. See if you can get a county commissioner or two in here. I think that.
Well, I'd love to.
I don't believe that Rob and Chairman Tim, I don't think they want to come in right now, do they?
Well, and we'll go back and say and reiterate, it's not their fault, but
It's not their fault.
sure.
What are they going to do about it? All of that is, I don't want to put it like that. It's
So
water over that
mad.
dam. Okay, it's over. It's done with.
Right.
But what did we learn from it? Did we learn anything? Is there something that could be learned? Is there something that we should do or could do? Good job. To make that not happen again.
They're probably going to put another bid out for new provider.
Yeah. And if you don't get one,
Come up with an alternative plan.
there you go.
Plan B.
I would have, even if I had one, because you do not ever know when there's going to be a mass casualty situation that you've got to have more than one transport unit.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That can happen. One plane crash away, y'all.
All right. There's a question for Dr. Rose from Theo
Well,
tomorrow.
I'm not going to ask you. You ask it.
What
Yeah,
is this?
I know. Cutting fluoride from drinking water. And I think I spelled
I mean,
fluoride.
has that- Is that, doesn't
got
matter how you spell it, how
fluoride.
you pronounce it.
Fluoride.
This is radio. Do we have any idea that they've cut fluoride from treatments?
That was in Florida.
Oh, good. I'm not in Florida.
DeSantis. Yes.
Okay.
I'll
okay.
do some more research.
Do some
on it, but
research first.
that-
Let's be sure of
There,
our
I
facts.
spelled it right. I knew I spelled it wrong as soon as I put it on the paper. I was like, it's not fluoride. Fluoride.
Okay.
Don't let me lose that because I don't want to let Theo down. I'm so deplorable. I don't want to be deplorable more.
I'm going to hide it.
What?
I didn't say
All right,
anything.
we've got to go. I got to go home.
You're live and local. We'll talk where we're
Cheers.
always awake, never woke. We'll see you in the morning. Be
Have a
safe.
good day.